Lexi. I like that.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Lexi.
So I'm gonna add something. There are some unanswered questions, and I'm sorry about that. There's just some things that we just never find out. Like the stuff happening, was it related to each other? Somebody even said that it sounds like a portal in my apartment. I don't know. Also, I'm kind of sick in this video, so I'm sorry if I'm like low energy. And I'm gonna film an update on my recent paranormal story soon too.
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me. Screwdriver just got thrown.
Okay, back to the video.
Today, I'm bringing you a paranormal story. It is gonna be like a get ready with me style video about my old haunted apartment. Before we start, feel free to subscribe, like the video. We have a huge playlist of a bunch more paranormal stories that are real. So let's just get right into it. So Tom and I started dating. I had moved into like his family home. I was there for a year or two, and then we finally end up getting our own place. So by the time we moved in, we were already using, and he's the same guy in my Chased by the Cop story. That's the same apartment. Physically, we did not look good, we didn't feel good, but our relationship was still really good. A few months living in this apartment, something really traumatic happened. I'm gonna make a whole other video about. So the first thing that we noticed was like footsteps. We started hearing like whispering coming from the room, and it just felt uncomfortable in there. Like we did not want to be in that room anymore. We eventually ended up dragging the entire mattress out of the room, and we would just sleep in the living room. And then randomly we started hearing this crazy fucking noise from upstairs. Like the people up there were just so loud. They'd be like running back and forth, slamming doors, like chasing each other. But the thing that we heard the most up there was boots, like big heavy boots. They would just walk around the entire apartment. It was like the same layout as ours, so we knew where they were going, but we heard it all the time. It was so fucking obnoxious. It happened while we were sleeping in the middle of the night, during the day. So after a while of hearing this shit, I end up telling the manager, like, she actually starts telling us, like, you're not the first people that have complained. Like, the other neighbors downstairs, they're even complaining, so I'm gonna talk to them. So after I snitched, pretty much, it finally started to, like, dwindle down. It didn't stop completely, but it did get better. And then out of nowhere, me and Tom start fighting. Bad. And we were not the couple that would fight a lot. It was like we were just misunderstanding each other so much. We would fight over the dumbest shit, and it was happening so often. So this one night, me and him are fighting. We are going at it, and in the middle of us fighting, I start hearing whispering. I'm hearing this whispering, and I'm ignoring it, thinking it's somebody like outside, like somebody outside the window or something. It gets louder, and then I start hearing giggling, and he starts hearing it too, and he's like, what the fuck is that? So we kind of stop and we listen, and it stops. So the whispering continues for a while. It happened whether we were in the middle of a fight, while we were talking, even when we were sleeping in the living room, and we would hear the whispering and like the giggling coming from our room. Like obviously that's a scary situation, but we were so into getting high that we just didn't let it soak in. So we just ignored it for the most part. This one night, we again were fighting and we were bickering hard. I start to hear the laughing and the whispering again. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm talking to him, and then something catches my eye in my room. I look over and I like did like a double take. I was like, and I saw two pairs of eyes in the closet. I couldn't see anything else. It was just the eyes, and it was like they were in there like moving around. The whispering and the talking is still happening, the giggling like that. I'm seeing this go down and I'm just staring. I literally went quiet and they just disappear. Obviously something was like manifested, like all over our negativity that we're bringing in from shady people, like traumatic experience, all kinds of shit. And I think we manifested something evil that is just feeding off of our negative energy. How funny that every time we're being loud, we're being crazy, and like we're being really toxic towards each other, these things are out and they're laughing and they're talking to each other, you know? Immediately I was like, okay, enough. Like we cannot be fighting. We have to make some kind of change. We have to do something. So after some time, we finally make the decision to start getting clean. My girl. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You want to come sit over here? So we end up using medication to help us out, so we weren't quitting cold turkey. Weirdly, after like 2 days, we're noticing that the whispering, the giggling, all of that shit has subsided a bit. But the stuff that was going on upstairs, it's getting worse and it's getting louder. So we're in the living room this one night. Tom is passed the fuck out, and I, of course, I'm withdrawing. I can't sleep. And I start hearing the noise upstairs, like the person with the boots. And then it starts sounding like another person is being chased by the guy in the boots. It sounds like there are just two people running back and forth. So Boots is chasing after the other person. And then I start hearing like somebody's throwing shit against the wall, slamming doors. I hear what sounds like somebody flipping the couch over, glass breaking. Then I start hearing screaming. I mean, like a woman screaming and crying for help. And I like sit up and I'm like, Tom, wake up, wake up. Tom wakes up and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Sounds like this person runs into a room, slams the door. The guy in the boots is running after her, just pounding on the door. Me and Tom were just sitting there like, oh my God, like what is happening? And then we hear the door being opened, like grabbing onto the girl. She's screaming. He's making noises. It just stops. And it's quiet. It's quiet for a little bit, and then it sounds like he starts walking into the living room. He walks back into the room, and then it sounds like he's dragging something. So after we hear the dragging, it literally sounds like he stops directly above us. We're sitting there like trying to listen to see what's happening. We hear 3-4 people running up the stairs, goes into that house, like forcefully opens the door, and they start going in. We hear scuffle, we hear running, yelling, like all kinds of voices. Sounds like shit is being thrown, a bunch of commotion. In my mind, the cops are here. I wanted to go out there to see what's going on, but I also wanted to see if I could be of any help. So I'm like, you stay here, I'm gonna go look. I run out of my apartment and I just look up. Like I look up at the stairs. The door's closed, nobody's there. I look over, no cop cars. I don't see anything, I don't see anyone. I'm looking at Tom, and he's looking up like this, like still trying to listen. And he's like, everything stopped. There's no noise. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like, that's weird. We both go in, and I call my manager. I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, but something fucked up is happening upstairs. Please go check. Like, can you call the cops? I don't know what's going on. So she's trying to calm me down. She's like, well, what do you mean? I explain everything. She's like, okay, but you said it was like directly above you, right? I'm like, yes. She's like, okay, well, that is weird. I'm gonna go check with the neighbors if they heard anything, or if maybe they're the ones making the noises. So I'm like, why don't you just go check upstairs? She's like, well, nobody lives up there right now. The person directly above you got evicted months ago. Like, no one has been living up there for a while. So no one's living up there. She's like, it's correct. I'm like, well, can you go check up there and see if anyone's up there right now? Because there's someone up there, 100%. She's like, yeah, I'll go check. She calls her husband. He goes up there, he starts looking around. She comes knocking on our door. She's like, okay, so my husband just went up there. He checked. No one's up there. There's no furniture. Nothing's broken. Both neighbors on the other side, they said that they heard noises too, but neither of them were making noise. So confused. I'm like, then what the fuck was it that we heard? We don't know. The manager doesn't know. The neighbors don't know. We just never found out what happened, what that was. I just could not believe that somebody wasn't up there and that the cops weren't up there. We ended up moving out after a few months anyway, me and Tom, because we were doing terrible. We ended up actually getting into a program to get clean. I wish I had more answers on what this could have been, but I don't, unfortunately. But I hope you guys liked that video. And if you did enjoy this video, I hope you subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
And you don't seem to